The Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act of 2002. Our names are Arjun Maturla,
Matthew Bogart,
Daniel Pedersen,
Cole Weber,
Melissa Hostick,
Claire Pritchard,
Chassie Blakely,
Chase Akins.
and Kaylee Baker.
After the roll call vote of our group, welcome to our presentation. We hope that once we're finished, you'll have a better understanding of the means of which BCRA was crafted.
In the Senate, BCRA was brought to the floor due to pressure from supporters and the threat of a special session by President Clinton. Following Senator Lott's amendment and his filling of the amendment tree, the Democrats filibustered the amendment debate. The two filibusters, the Democrat-led filibuster against Lott's amendments and the Republican-led filibuster of the underlying bill, thus ended the Senate's consideration of campaign finance reform in the fall. McCain and Feingold attempted to attach campaign finance as an amendment to another bill, but were unable to vote for cloture on this amendment debate. In the House, Shays and Meehan introduced the bill simultaneously and under threat of a discharge petition were able to bring it to the floor. After defeating many amendments, it passed the House 237 to 186 votes.
This bill was originally brought up for a vote in the 105th Congress, where Republicans held the majority in both the House and the Senate. The vast majority of these Republicans did not support the McCain-Feingold Act because they believed campaign contributions were a form of free speech, and therefore believed this bill would restrict free speech. The biggest opponent of this bill was Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott, who did everything in his power to keep the bill from passing. One of the more controversial amendments he added in an effort to block the bill was the Paycheck Protection Act, which would decrease the amount that unions could give as political contributions. In the 107th Congress, however, many factors causing the dynamics to be different changed. Now, the Democrats had control of the Senate. The turnover from the 2000 elections brought in more pro-reform members, and John McCain received increased exposure of the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act through his presidential nominee run. In addition to these factors, the Enron scandal in 2001 caused many legislators to vote for BCRA as a step in the right direction. Lastly, in the 107th Congress, the reform package was introduced in the Senate, leaving it to the House to pass.
When the House successfully used a discharge petition to eject the bill from the Rules Committee, this was an example of pivotal politics. This discharge petition was pivotal because it was only the second successful time this occurred since the 1980s. In addition, this act was also pivotal as opposed to the usual congressional gridlock because Democrats and Republicans defied the authority of the House Speaker over setting the agenda for floor legislation. The conflict was between ordinary House members and the House leadership, not between the two parties. And the fact that the ordinary members got their way illustrates that this discharge petition was a deviation from the textbook Congress. The pivotal decision makers for this bill were Chris Shays and Marty Meehan, who whipped the votes that were pivotal to the final policy choice.
The pivot was under firm Republican control in the 105th Congress. However, their 55 to 45 majority was evened out to 50 to 50 in 2000. In 2002, 10 Republicans who had voted against the motion in the 105th Congress now voted for cloture, allowing a vote on the bill for the first time in years. These 10 Republicans were Thad Cochran, Pete Domenici, Bill Frist, Chuck Grassley, Chuck Hagel, John Kyle, Dick Lugar, Gordon Smith, Ted Stevens, and John Warner.
To conclude, after much deliberation, House Resolution 2356, the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act of 2002, passed the House on February 14th and passed the Senate on March 20th. It then became Public Law number 107-155 with President George W. Bush's signature on March 27th, 2002.